then you can come over here and create new styles. You can modify existing styles. You can compare two styles. So if I do a compare, so I want to compare standard with annotative, you'll notice there's only one change. One's annotative, one's not, which is stored in a system variable called dim scale. So if you've got two drawings and they use different fonts, you may be able to compare why are they different, why do they look different. And that's assuming that someone didn't go to properties and override that as well. So to create a new dimension style, you just click on new, and it's going to ask you for a name. We're just going to create an architectural font. And then I'm going to make it annotative. Okay? We can do that at this point. Now it says use for all dimensions, or you can go in and pick a subdimension. AutoCAD used to call these a parent dimension and children dimensions, but now they're just subdimensions, and I'll explain how they work. So here, I'm just going to take you through the dialog boxes and hit on a couple of the most common features. Like I said, there's hundreds of options. Okay. So the dialog box for dimension style is divided up into about 7-8 different tabs: lines, symbols, arrows, text. Whenever you go to your dimension lines or extension lines, you'll notice the color is by block. The line type and line weight is by block. What that means is each dimension has its own settings. Where so every dimension could have its own color if you wanted to. I prefer to use by layer. So I like to go in and change everything to by layer. That's just me personally. I like for the layer to control that feature. So that's one of the things I do, set it to by layer. You can also turn off your dimension lines and extension lines. When I'm doing plot plans and stuff, I may have a text that has no extension lines. I may even set it up where it has no dimension lines when I'm dimensioning the building on a plot plan. So you can turn these extension and dimension lines off. Sometimes you're going to encounter a cell that's grayed out. Extend beyond ticks, it's grayed out. A tick is a slash mark that we use in architectural. We're using arrowheads, so this is not applicable at this time. We have settings to extend our extension lines beyond our dimension lines, these little extensions here. Offset from origin, that's the point from that definition point to the start of the extension line. It's a 1/16 of an inch. Okay, all of that can be adjusted. A fixed length extension lines is basically where, have you ever seen a drawing where all of the extension lines are up at the top, none of them goes down into the drawing? Those are called fixed length, and you can set those up as well. When you use your baseline tool, you can adjust the baseline spacing. Now with baseline spacing, this does not affect it after the fact. So once dimensions are all on the drawing, you can change this, but it will not change what's already there. Symbols and arrows. We're going to use architectural ticks. These are the built-in arrowheads in AutoCAD. The very last item says user arrow. You can create your own user arrow. If you're interested in that, search the help because you have to draw it an exact way for it to work. So I'm going to use architectural ticks. And for leader lines, I'm just going to leave that at closed fill. Now, the difference between an architectural tick and an oblique is an architectural tick is thicker. That's the main difference. I want to set my arrowhead size to 0.125. Do you want to use center marks or center lines with some of your dimensions like diameter and radius? I'm just going to say none because I want to go in and add my own center lines. If you use arc length, do you want to have the symbol before or after? and this all deals with the radial and the linear jog. All right. On your text, you pick your text style,